The Hulk is, potentially, the strongest mortal to ever walk the planet Earth. While functionally calm, the Hulk can lift, or press, weights within the same range as some of Earth's strongest heroes, such as Wonder Man, Colossus, or the Thing. In times of stress, when his anger grows, the Hulk's raw physical power experiences an exponential level of growth. To this date, the Hulk has never been provoked to a point where his strength has hit a maximum level of output. Due to this fact, it is virtually impossible to quantify or measure the upper limits of his strength, if said limit actually exists. With these facts in mind, it is easy to state that when enraged, the Hulk's strength falls within the Class 100 plus category of strength, allowing him to lift, or press, weights far in excess of 100 tons. In stark contrast, Bruce Banner possesses the normal human strength of a man his age, height, and build who engages in no regular exercise. As a result of the intense radiation he absorbed during the explosion of the first gamma bomb, Bruce Banner's body has undergone an unstable mutation, which in times of stress triggers a series of changes to his cellular structure. When the change is in effect, Banner gains over 800 pounds of bone, muscle, and connective tissue on his formerly slight frame. The exact source of this extra mass is unknown, but in the end, it matters little. The process is triggered in periods of great stress or exertion, and more specifically by the increased presence of the chemical secretion adrenaline, or epinephrine, in his blood. The entire transformation can take place over a range of 25 seconds to as long as 5 minutes. In his mutated form, Banner, or more accurately, the Hulk, gains virtually unquantifiable strength, see strength level, in addition to an unbelievable degree of invulnerability to physical harm. He is capable of ignoring extreme variances in heat or cold. He can survive ranges of temperature from minus 190 degrees Fahrenheit to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, is immune to terrestrial diseases, and is all but impervious to great impacts. The Hulk can shrug off direct hits by field artillery cannon shells or the superhumanly powerful blows of beings as powerful as the ionically charged hero, Wonder Man. He can even survive in inhospitable environments, like the bottom of the ocean or the vacuum of outer space, for hours at a time, simply by holding his breath. It is possible to injure the Hulk. For instance, he would not survive a direct hit from a nuclear warhead, and his skin has been pierced by blades constructed from the indestructible metal adamantium. In these rare cases, the Hulk recovers and heals at a phenomenal rate, in some cases regenerating skin, bone, and tissue literally before his opponent's eyes. The Hulk's superhuman strength extends itself to his legs, which he uses to leap great distances. He has demonstrated the ability to leap over 3 miles with a single bound. Outside of his raw physical power, the Hulk has demonstrated 2 unique and unrelated gifts that are outside of the realm of normal. The Hulk has always been capable of perceiving astral forms without effort. In addition to that, the Hulk has an uncanny homing ability that allows him to locate the exact location in New Mexico where he was first born in the explosion of the gamma bomb. Bruce Banner is a genius and possesses unparalleled knowledge and understanding of gamma radiation and its applications. He is considerably knowledgeable in other fields of scientific study, in particular physics as well. The Hulk has no special skills or abilities outside of his seemingly instinctive and considerably effective understanding of hand-to-hand combat. The instability of the mutation that causes the transformation from Banner to the Hulk is seemingly the duo's only weakness. The exact cause of the transformation has varied over time and has included triggers including the absence of sunlight to radiation bombardment to its current one, emotional state. History. Dr. Robert Bruce Banner was the product of the union of Dr. Brian Banner, an atomic scientist, and his wife, Rebecca. Bruce's childhood was a fascinating yet tragic dichotomy. While his mother loved him intensely and showered him with affection, his father harbored an insane jealousy and hatred for the boy and grew more and more abusive over time. Brian's insanity and rage grew to a level that he could no longer contain. He murdered Rebecca in front of his son and was placed into a mental institution for the criminally insane. Bruce, who was already a quiet and contemplative youth, coped with this loss by emotionally withdrawing from the world about him. He sublimated all of his pain and anger, internalizing it and pretending that it didn't exist. Bruce eventually grew into adulthood and earned a doctorate in nuclear physics. His genius was eventually recognized by the American military, and he was recruited by the United States Defense Department. He was put to work in a nuclear research facility that was located in the deserts of New Mexico. It was there where he first met General Thaddeus Ross and his daughter, Betty. Betty was a kind and generous soul. She was not only able to see past Bruce's quirky and withdrawn nature, but also able to pierce his self-imposed emotional barriers and reach the man inside. After spending some time together, the two eventually fell in love. General Ross, who never approved of his daughter loving a weakling, was quite hard on Bruce, but nevertheless recognized the young man's genius. Even while Bruce was falling in love with Betty, Bruce was working diligently on the design and oversight of a potentially devastating weapon, the gamma bomb. This weapon was a high-yield nuclear weapon that generated high amounts of gamma radiation. His labor eventually bore fruit, and the weapon was completed. On the day of the gamma bomb's initial test, Bruce was one of the many officials present within the instrumentation bunker that have been built on the test site. Everything seemed to be proceeding according to plan when Bruce noticed that a civilian had somehow breached the security barrier and entered the test area. He ordered his research colleague, Igor Starsky, to have the detonation delayed and then rushed out of the secure bunker in a desperate attempt to get the civilian to safety. Unfortunately for Bruce, fate had different plans for him that day. As it turned out, Starsky, who was secretly a Soviet agent, came to the conclusion that if Banner perished within the explosion, that the project would come to a screeching halt, and all he needed to do to accomplish this was hold his tongue, which he did. Bruce raced out to the location where he had last seen the civilian in record time and pulled the young teenager out of his car. The boy's name was Rick Jones, and he had entered the test area on a dare. Bruce had little time to admonish the boy before he heard the sirens that preceded the weapon's detonation. With little time to think, instinct took over. He threw the youth down in a protective trench a mere second before the bomb detonated, sending billions of highly charged radioactive particles through his body. To his own surprise, Bruce was not instantly killed by the intense gamma radiation that was thrown off by the blast. Both he and Rick were recovered by the military and held overnight for observation. That night, the true effects of the gamma radiation were revealed not only to Bruce, but also Rick. As the light of the sun faded from the night sky, Bruce transformed into a monstrously powerful hulking creature that rampaged through the military base. One of the soldiers present at the time of the rampage called the creature the Hulk, which quickly became the name both the military and the creature itself adopted for itself. The Hulk's rampage lasted the entirety of the night until the first rays of morning sky touched the night sky. At that moment, the gray behemoth's body transformed back into that of Bruce, and Bruce's mind reasserted control. This pattern continued for several days as the transformation seemed to evolve. Eventually, Bruce's body acclimatized itself to the change, and his transformations were only triggered by an increased level of adrenaline in his system, no matter what time of day. Throughout all of this, Banner had but one ally that he shared his affliction with, Rick Jones. Rick was present during Bruce's initial transformation, and his silence and friendship was driven by his own guilt and the debt he owed Bruce for his life. The two managed to protect Banner's secret for some time, while Banner searched for a method of controlling his rampaging alter ego. For a short period of time, it seems that Bruce had succeeded. Through the use of precise radiation treatments, he managed to retain just enough of his own personality when transformed into the Hulk to control himself in that form. It was during this time that the Hulk helped to found the Avengers. Alas, Bruce's tenuous grip on the Hulk flipped eventually, and the Hulk once again became a brutish menace to any that crossed his path. To make matters worse, despite his best efforts, Bruce's secret became public knowledge, and his life devolved into that of a fugitive. Bruce literally spent years being hunted by the American military while searching for a cure for his affliction and dreading the inevitable moment when he would transform into the Hulk once more. When his travels led him through Los Angeles, Bruce decided to pay a visit to his cousin Jennifer, who worked there as a lawyer. The two cousins' reunion was ruined when one of the stakeholders in a high-profile case she was